What's up, guys? Luke back again with another Gaming Week in Review podcast, where we talk about the things that have interested us in the world of video games each and every week. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button as well as subscribe with bell notifications turned on so you can catch us every time we release a new podcast. But with that being said, let's get right into it. So this week we actually had a Nintendo Indie World Showcase, and a lot of cool indie games got announced. I'm not going to go over every single one. I'm going to go over the ones that sort of kind of sparked my interest, games that I think I might like for myself and for friends. There's actually a lot of cool party games. And the first game that I want to talk about is Fisty Fluffs. Lots of cat games in this indie showcase, and I'm not the biggest cat person, not gonna lie. I do like cats, but I don't like how inconsistent they are. Sometimes you got a kitty that is cuddly and lovable and not really like spazzy at all, and then sometimes you have a kitty that just doesn't want to be around you until you crack open some wet food. With dogs, they're pretty consistent. They usually always like to have attention. They wear their emotions on their sleeve and their tail, and you kind of know how they're feeling or how they're gonna act based on that. So I'm more of a dog person, although I do like a cuddly purring kitty. So I'm okay with Fist of Fluffs. Well, Fist of Fluffs is actually not a very cuddly game. It's a 4-player brawler with online play, and it looks really goofy, but like it would be a very fun game to maybe play on stream. By the way, I do stream every Thursday, Friday, Saturday evening over at Facebook Gaming. Link in the description if you want to come and hang out with us. And another heads up, I do record these podcasts live. So if you want to catch it live as it's being recorded and see me mess up and stumble over my words and things like that, doesn't really happen that much lately, but if you want to come and see my mess ups live on the stream, come over and say hi. We got a pretty cool community over there. And so yeah, so 4-player brawler with online play, and it's a kind of a animal cruelty gray area because you have 4 cats and they're all fighting each other. Like it's like Cat Fight City in different environments. You know, the living room, the bedroom, and you're actually destroying things as you're fighting. So like you'll be fighting in the kitchen and like the wastebasket gets knocked over and like plates get shattered and stuff as you're going at it. So I'm sure that they wouldn't the owners aren't going to be too happy when they get home, but looks fun, looks funny. Maybe not a game that you're going to really sink your teeth into, but maybe something that would be fun for family and for a few online matches here and there. Pretty cool looking game. This one releases early 2021. Next game was right after it, and it's called Very Very Valet. This one looked pretty fun too. Sort of I'm going to say this a couple times when I'm describing these indie games, sort of like a Overcooked for valet parkers. It's a 4-player or up to 4-player. It's a frantic park. It has frantic parking gameplay. You'll see it to the left of me. It's pretty interesting. It's looks like it'd be a lot of fun once again to play with friends and family. That one also releases early 2021. Next game is another kitty game, and this is called Calico. This is the next one that impressed me. This is a 3D cat cafe simulator where you collect cute kitties and bring them into your shop. The more kitties you get, I'm assuming the more people and business you're going to earn into your little cat cafe. So just think Crazy Cat Lady, but she opens up a business. This one's going to be available. This one's actually available right now, so you can go and download it, I'm assuming, on the Nintendo eShop. Alba, a wildlife adventure. This was another one that kind of gave me those sort of Wind Waker vibes, Zelda-y sort of vibe. It's kind of a cool idea. It's sort of like an open world tree hugger simulator. Your main character is sort of running around this island. It looks like maybe in the Philippines or possibly Hawaii. Definitely a Pacific island because it's a darker skin tone, and it's sort of a tropical area. So I'm just assuming that it'd maybe be like Hawaii or the Philippines, maybe Thailand, something like that. And you're running around the beach and you're basically saving the earth. So you're cleaning up the beach, you're recycling, you're just being environmentally friendly, and you're teaming up with people to do that. And it's just kind of a new sort of idea, and I like the message. I think it's a good message. We should definitely clean up after ourselves. We should make sure that nature and beauty remains beautiful by picking up our trash. So kind of a cool message with a pretty fun looking art style and gameplay. After that was pretty much it for the stuff that they really dug into. They did show a sizzle reel, and there was a couple of games that I thought were pretty cool on the sizzle reel. So the first one was Hazel Sky, and it sucks when you have a sizzle reel because it's like 10 seconds of gameplay. They kind of blast through it. But what I saw from Hazel Sky looked really cool. It's a third-person open world adventure game. I am being speculative right here with puzzle solving. I like the art style. It looked sort of like in between a Wind Waker and a maybe Fallout or what's that other one? Outer Worlds sort of art style. I did like it. It appealed to me. It looked like the gameplay was pretty interesting. You're going all over like this world that they put you on. You're up in the skies, you're down below, you're all over the place. Looks like there was some puzzle solving. I love puzzle solving in games. Third person, that's another check mark for me. We'll have to find out more. It does release mid 2021. Well, March. It's still sort of early 2021. So that is definitely one that we'll be looking for more information on. Next one was Trash Sailors, and this is actually the last one from the Indie Showcase. This one really looked like a sort of, overcooked sort of clone, but you're basically on this trash, the ship that's made out of trash, and you're fighting off enemies with your teammates, and it's up to 4 players. It's kind of like a frantic sort of 4-player Overcooked style, I'm assuming, where you have to kind of back each other up, and everyone has their own job, that sort of deal, to kind of traverse through this swampland. So this one looked pretty interesting too. Once again, sizzle reel stuff, so we didn't get a ton of information on it, but I'm excited to definitely see more. And then finally on the Indie Showcase, just playing with you, the last thing on the Indie Showcase was Among Us got announced for the Switch. I just wanted to let you guys know, I'm not the biggest Among Us fan. I played it one time and I didn't really think it was all that great. I did hear, however, from people that the online play is pretty solid, but because I was playing with other people that were just not good at their poker faces, so I was not needing to play the game to figure out who the imposter was. I was just looking at them and, oh, okay, well, you're a dead giveaway that you're the imposter. So it was really easy for me because I read people pretty well. So that's probably a big reason why I wasn't a big fan of it. It's a huge game, a massive game, more than huge. It's massive, and it's a huge winner from the Game Awards that we discussed last week. So I'll have to probably jump into it once or twice, maybe do some online matches, and maybe I'll change my tune on it. But I want to let you guys know that it is available on Nintendo Switch. You can go and check it out. I think it's $5 is what I was told. So yeah, super exciting. And moving on from the Nintendo Indie Showcase, the next piece of news I kind of want to talk about is going back to Cyberpunk 2077. I kind of wanted to sort of talk about, alternatives as far as playing this game. A lot of you guys are playing this game on base PS4 and the VCR, Xbox One and Xbox One S, and you've had a pretty poor experience. So I just kind of wanted to talk about something that I think that not a lot of people are talking about, and that is playing it on Stadia. If you wanted to get the new systems, right now they're still very scarce. They're still very expensive. If you wanted to play it on a PC, obviously you gotta shell out even more cash than that to play it on a PC. So I think the budget-friendly solution for not investing in, like, for example, like a 1X. I heard the 1X plays it all right. Like, it's playable on 1X. Instead of investing the $300, $400 on a 1X, because you can't find a Series S or a Series X, you could just get a Stadia or just sign up for Stadia and play it on there. You can play it in high specs with all the, cool, high-end graphics, PC graphics, and you can play it on a crappy old laptop or your phone, or I could even set it up on my Nintendo Switch that's modded. So there's a lot of ways that you can play it. Maybe I should try that one time. Cyberpunk 2077 on Nintendo Switch. I see some clickbait, some serious clickbait happening. But yeah, Stadia. Go and check it out, guys. I have tried Stadia, and it's not as bad as you would think. I was a big advocate against it, and with all the issues going on with Cyberpunk on previous gen hardware, I would definitely, if you're gonna play Cyberpunk and you don't have a high-end PC or a next-gen console, this is the way to go, man. Get the premium set. You can get a controller with it, or you can even just use your Xbox controller. Pull out your Xbox controller, hook it into your PC, and pull up the browser, and you're playing bug-free or minimal bugs Cyberpunk 2077. So people are flocking also to Google Stadia right now. I guess I'm not the only one talking about this, because Google Stadia's interest has actually skyrocketed the last few weeks, and I think a lot of it has to do with Cyberpunk 2077. Unfortunately, I don't think that's enough to really bring Stadia back as sort of a player and bring a lure around it, but I think they're doing the right things to kind of skim water for the time being until they slowly, progressively gain more people onto their service. The good news is it's not a console where they're investing all this money into it and they're producing thousands or hundreds of thousands of these consoles, and they're not able to sell them, so they're being they're overstocked everywhere. You find all of them are being put on sale, so they're losing a ton of money on it. This really isn't the case with Stadia. Stadia is based off a server. So I think Stadia can stay afloat even with not being the most popular console solution out there, at least until more people get the better internet, especially in the US, get better internet and are able to, kind of try this thing out. And I think they're doing a lot of good things with, and I know I'm going down a rabbit trail here, but I want to talk about it some more. So I think that they're doing the right thing with making a lot of things free, adding, free games with your pro membership, sort of like a Game Pass sort of deal. And then also with these new games coming out, they really need to advertise that this is your budget-friendly solution, where you don't have to sacrifice your graphics. You can get the ballin' graphics, and you don't have to spend an arm and a leg or maintain, expensive hardware, stuff like that. So, yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia. Go and do it. A new retrofighters controller. Actually, we talked about this a couple months ago. A new retrofighters wireless Nintendo 64 controller is now available for pre-order. This guy is coming out very, very soon. It's going to be $39.99, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the retrofighters controllers. They've made for a few different sort of controllers. They made a Dreamcast controller that was a huge hit for Dreamcast fans. They also made the wired Nintendo 64 controller that was a very great alternative to the original one, and a lot of the third-party controllers that are out there right now are very much like the Retro Fighters controller, so I think that's sort of a testament to their design of controllers, and they're finally now crossing into the wireless territory, and I think these things are going to sell like hotcakes. Few things, it's going to be $39.99. I think that's more than fair for a Retro Fighters wireless controller. There's going to be a couple different colors. We're going to have a gray variant, just like the original gray. That will actually be coming out at the end of December 30th, 2020. And then we will have a variety of translucent colors. There's actually 3, and those will be coming out January 13th, 2021. So if you're a big N64 fan and you want to cut the cord as far as your controllers go, definitely head over to Retro Fighters and pre-order your controller, because I feel like they're going to initially sell out. So go over and secure yours so you can get it before they sell out, and then you have to wait. Limited run news this week. Just like every week, we are going to be talking about what is new over at limitedrungames.com, and this week's last chance games, as we always do, first is last chance games, is Billion Road. This is a Japanese Monopoly style party game, and pre-orders will be closing on December 13th, which is from this recording. Oh, this actually did already close. When I was writing this all down yesterday, this did actually already close, but there were still some copies available. So you guys can go and check out those copies if they're still available. Another reason why you should watch these live, because, you know, you may have to be on it. That's going to do it for our last chance games, and then we have new this week, and wow, we have some cool stuff to talk about. First game is Panzer Dragoon Remake. This is not the original Panzer Dragoon. This is a Panzer Dragoon Remake. This is going to be a PS4 release only. No! Hopefully there will be a Switch in the foreseeable future, but this one is for PS4 only. It's going to have a standard edition coming in at $39.99. Little steep, but makes sense. It's a remake game. And a classic edition coming at $59.99. The classic edition includes the following: officially licensed Sega Saturn branded long box jewel case, looks just like the original Sega Saturn game and case. Panzer Dragoon physical game for the PS4 in a standard case, right? Standard PS4 case. A classic edition exclusive reversible cover art for Sega Saturn brand reverse, so you can flip the cover art on the PS4 case. A full color instruction booklet with a retrospective essay from Jeremy Parrish. I'm assuming this guy was a part of the original Panzer Dragoon team, or maybe the original creator. His name was on the creation of it. So really exciting for Panzer Dragoon fans. I've never played Panzer Dragoon, but watching gameplay, it really made me think about Star Fox 64. Let me know in the comments if it's anything like Star Fox 64. If so, I need to play this game stat. This game is going to release on December 19th, so in a couple of days. It's a 4-week pre-order, so Don't have to worry about going out and snagging it right away if you don't have the funds for it. It is the holiday season. After all, you can sit on this one a little bit. This will have also has a vinyl soundtrack, signed and not signed, with a $10 difference. I'm pretty sure the standard one not signed is $39.99 and the signed one is $49.99. So if you care about having it signed, you can pay 10 extra bucks and you get a signature. Also, it has a CD soundtrack if you prefer listening to soundtracks on CD. The next game is As Divine Menace. This is another retro style JRPG. It's really not my cup of tea, but it may be yours. It's a PS4 release only. It's a standard only for $29.99. It releases Friday, December 18th, and this one is limited to 1,500 copies. So if you're a big fan of As Divine games, definitely jump all over this one. Like I said, it goes live on Friday, December 19th, and is only limited to 1,500 copies. So this is the type of limited run release that is true to the original old school limited run, where you need to be up, coffee's flowing, checkout ready, and have your trigger finger flexed and stretched and ready to go. Next game, this was another cool one, is the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics. This is a Dark Crystal reimagined, so not original Dark Crystal from back in the day, Dark Crystal reimagined Netflix. This is a tactical RPG, which is up my RPG alley. I love tactical RPGs where you're sort of on a grid. It's almost like a game of chess. It's going to be released for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Woo! Switch release. And it's going to have a standard edition at $29.99, very affordable, and a collector's edition at $79.99. The collector's edition will include the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance physical game for the Nintendo Switch or PS4, an outer box, full color manual, interior art, premium crystal enamel pin, sticker sheet with 7 stickers, an overworld cloth map, that's pretty cool, overworld Fizzgig plush, very cute and cuddly, would be very, very cool to have if you're into collecting plushes, and a branded litho print. This one is going to be coming out also on Friday, December 18th. It is a standard 4-week pre-order for the standard edition. It's a 4-week pre-order. So if you don't care about the collectors, you're good. The collector's edition is limited to 1,500 copies. That's not a whole lot of copies. So this is one you want to be up early to grab because there's a lot of Dark Crystal fans. And I think this game is probably, I didn't look up the reviews for this game, but it's probably rated at least pretty decently. So I think people are going to be all over it. Now that's going to do it for our limited run news for this week. Now, to finish up the to finish up the podcast, I did want to talk about some cool news. I got a Series X. Finally, I got a Xbox Series X. Still haven't nabbed a PS5, but I'm sure that will come eventually. I'll definitely be looking more for one when games that I'm kind of anticipating start coming out. Deathloop and Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Those are my top 2 as far as games I'm excited for the PS5. So when those start coming out, I will definitely start going on the hunt. But I did just kind of want to outline sort of my experience, tell you guys why I started going out looking for a Series X, and then what my experience was in finding it. And then maybe even you guys can pick up a few pointers as far as getting your own PS5 or Series X. So, the reason why because you guys, if you've been watching my podcast, you know that I'm kind of a neutral stance as far as the Series X. I'm not like panicking, feeling I need to get one. Same with the PS5. There's not a whole lot of games for either one that are like super noteworthy and only on the system. So there's not a ton of draw to get one other than hype. And I always feel buyer's remorse when I buy into hype. When I buy into a good game that I know is good, I don't usually have buyer's remorse. When I buy into hype and I buy the game right when it comes out, it's like a 50-50 shot. Sometimes I'm happy with my purchase. Sometimes I'm like, did I need to spend $60, $70 on that? Probably not. So with this one, I felt the same way with these new consoles. But Fortnite, which is one of my favorite games to play right now, just got a 120 FPS announcement, and I just so happened to invest this holiday season in a 165 hertz monitor. So I was like, dude, now this purchase still doesn't make sense at $500, but I can make the excuse and I can use it for YouTube. And, I can think of some reasons why I need it in my life. So, that's where it came into my mind. I'm like, okay, now my radar's on. Now I'm on the hunt. Okay. So I get into the store, and while I should have been doing, adult work, I was thinking about getting a Series X. So I started going online and checking different sites, and I landed on Walmart. This was at 1240 something, 1245, 1250. And I looked up Xbox Series X. I pulled it up. Obviously, it wasn't available to put into my checkout or into my cart, but they did have a little disclaimer on the listing, and it said that we are going to have a batch of Series X's at this time. It was 3 o'clock Eastern time, so 1 o'clock my time in Mountain time. So it just kind of worked out, it was 10 minutes. The thing's going to go live. I'm going to get my clicky finger out. I'm going to do the old limited run, stuff. I'm going to have my card all set up. I loaded my card in. I had it all, hooked up, the shipping, and crossing my fingers. I'm like, okay. And I'm all over it. People are trying to talk to me, do like adult stuff. And I'm like, can't do adult stuff right now. I need to get a Series X. It's the most important thing in the world. Fortnite has 120 FPS. That's it. So I'm on the thing, and I'm trying to get it. Soon as it turns 1 o'clock, I'm pounding on that refresh page, pounding on it. Okay. As soon as I get it to refresh, it says no stock. Like, as soon as the thing came up, I didn't play any games, dude. I was trying to get this freaking thing. I know there's bots out there, but maybe they took a break this week. So it came up, sold out literally instantly. I refreshed again because I'm like, well, maybe they switch it over to sold out to kind of fake out the bots, and then they switch it on. I think that would be a smart thing to do if you're a retailer. So maybe they switch it over and then they, to fake everyone out, and then they actually make it available. It did happen, actually. I refreshed again and it popped up, add to cart. I'm like, oh yes, add to cart. Little disclaimer comes up. This item is sold out. So literally, in my opinion, don't waste your time on online retailers. Don't waste your time on that. Where it's at, if you want to get a new system, actually, before I go into that, let me tell you how I got a new system. So that kind of pissed me off, man. I was like, what the heck? This is crap. My only option now, at this point, is going to a retailer, finding one at a retailer. So I'm like, what is the retailer in southwestern Idaho that nobody thinks about when they think about getting a new console? Is it Best Buy? Nope. Is it Walmart? Nope. Is it Target? Nope. Everyone thinks about going to those places. I'll tell you the place. Fred Meyer's. That's a sneaky little joint for picking up next-gen consoles. I actually had a picture that I posted on Facebook as well of a friend of mine. He took a picture, did a courtesy for me, took a picture of 2 Series S's right next to each other over at Fred Meyer's. And I actually sent that picture out. So I'm like, dude, I bet you Fred Meyer's has one. I run to Fred Meyer's, shelves are empty. Nothing there. So apparently people saw my post. So shelves are empty over there. I'm like, dang it. Okay, well, where else could I go? So I went to Best Buy. Nope. Went to Target. Nope. All of them were sold out, and I needed to run to the bank. And my bank is really close to a Walmart. So I'm like, you know what? Last gasp, right? I'm going over there. Anyways. I'm going to go and check real quick. It wouldn't hurt to check. Walmart is packed, man. Packed full of people. Everyone's kind of got that, that holiday season haste. Everyone's sort of got that holiday season haste going on. So I'm like, kind of like, trying to navigate through, like, all these like carts are like crashing into each other and stuff. And, it's just kind of that haste is in the air. So like, I'm like navigating through and I make it to the back and I'm like back in the game section. And I walk over and there's this couple and they're standing next into the Xbox area and they're standing next to this glass case and they didn't even have the courtesy to tell me. I had to ask them, but like I walk up and I'm like, Series X, there's a Series X there in the glass case. Holy crap. It's just sitting there big and beautiful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the guy? And then I look over and I'm like, and they're kind of like still not saying anything. And I'm like, were you gonna, are you claiming this? And they're like, and the lady was like, oh yeah, you betcha, with like a straight up like Canadian, like, oh yeah, we got that, you betcha. I'm like, oh dang it, right? I'm all ticked off. I'm like, dang it. I'm like, oh well. And then I started thinking, I'm like, dude, there was only one in the case. Maybe. And, you guys have probably done this before. You ask, oh, do you have anything in the back? And it's almost always no. They don't have anything in the back. It's all out. What we have is out. You got to wait for the next truck. I'm like, well, I've done this much. I've spent this much time, half my day when I should have been doing adult stuff, half my day trying to hunt down this stupid console. So I'm like, you know what? What's a few more minutes? I'm going to wait for the guy to come. I'm going to make sure that their card goes through. Like, I was like dreaming up this idea. Maybe the card didn't go through and they didn't have the money or something. So I could swoop in and take the console. I'm evil. But then I also thought, well, maybe I can ask the guy if there's some in the back. So I walked up to him like, hey, just want to let you know I'm not creeping on you. I'm just, I want to ask the guy if there's any more when he comes up. And they're like, oh, cool. And we got to chatting and, and we're just talking. And the guy said, oh, yeah, when we came in, we actually saw somebody with one in his hand. That's why we came back here. And lo and behold, there was one. And we started looking at the case, and the case looked like, with the other product, it only could fit one Series X at a time. And when you think about it, it would actually make sense for these retailers to only put one, even if they have 10, put one out at a time. First of all, it creates urgency for the customer. They want to get it. Second of all, it keeps from crowds forming, right? Because everyone's worried about COVID. So they don't want a bunch of crowds forming around this aisle to get a new next gen console and possibly spread COVID around. So it makes sense that they would only put one in at a time. So I waited. The guy came, and I know I sound like a chatty nursing home woman right now, but this is kind of fun to talk about. Wait for the guy to come. He's unlocking it, and I'm like, hey, just by any chance, is there any chance you have any more of these in the back? He pulls out his phone. I'm like, oh, there's hope. He pulls out his phone. Like, he didn't give me a straight no, and he's looking for like a couple minutes, and he's like, I'm gonna have to go in the back. I'm like, okay, cool. So everyone checks out, and then he heads to the back, and I'm like nervously, like my hands are sweaty. I'm like nervous, like, oh man, is it gonna be available? And I start to talk myself out of it, like sort of, I'm like, I don't really have the money. I probably shouldn't. My store's moving pretty soon. Think about all these excuses why, when he comes out and says no, I'm going to be like, well, it's okay. It wasn't meant to be. The guy walks out with a Series X in his hand, and it was all just victory from there. I'm super excited. Picked up my Series X. Got it home, set up Fortnite 120 FPS, and I can't stream it at 120 FPS. And that's a real major bummer because I do a lot of gaming on stream. So apparently my capture card doesn't read 120 FPS. It can read 2K signals, but can't read 120 hertz. So unfortunately, I got the console so that I could play a game at 120 FPS, specifically on stream, and then my capture card and a bunch of other hardware wasn't really liking that 120 hertz signal. So I think I'm going to sell my Xbox Series X. So if anybody's looking for an Xbox Series X, let me know in the comments section. Bidding starts at $600 for my huge, massive loss of time, and highest bidder wins. No, I'm just kidding. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. I need to get better equipment, but if you guys learn anything from my story, it's when you go into these retailers, first of all, forget the online shopping, guys. Forget about it, okay? These scalpers are buying these consoles as soon as they go live. They're using bots. They're cheating at the game. You can't compete, normal guy, normal person trying to get a next-gen console. Guess what? You can't compete. But what you can do is you can go to different retailers, in specific retailers that people don't really think about when they want to, get a next gen console. So get creative. Think Kmart, think Fred Meyer, think Shopko, think stores that aren't Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, Target. Think those stores, okay? Second of all, if you go, and more than likely you're going to go, and there's other people thinking the same way, you go into a retailer and someone's already standing and they got it claimed, don't step on their toes. Be nice, be respectful, be patient, but hang out. Wait for them to do the purchase. Things happen. Cards don't go through sometimes. Maybe you can scoop one. Also, talk to the guy that's giving it and just ask somebody, hey, do you have any in the back? Because I think Walmart's not alone in this. I think a lot of these stores are being conscious of gatherings and groupings, and they're trying to keep people separated. So you may just have one waiting for you in the back. So I hope this helped you guys a little bit in your hunt for a Series X or a PS5. It's more so, I know everyone's hyped about PS5. It's more in your hunt for a PS5 or a Series X. Just keep those things in mind, and I think you'll find one a lot easier than you think you're going to find one out at retail stores shopping around. Dude, the comment of the freaking week! It's the comment of the week! It's the comment of the week! And this week's comment of the week comes from Period. That's all they gave me. Just that's their username, is a period. This came from Period, and this pertains to my Nintendo Switch overheating video. Link in the cards above. And they said, is there any chance I could fix it without opening the Switch? It's too complicated for me. And there's been a couple of these comments coming through lately, sort of just like this. First of all, Period, thank you so much for your comment. I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys referencing my video for repair on stuff. And I know they're not perfect, but I do spend a lot of time on them. And I love my repair and mod videos, mainly my repair videos, because I love answering your guys' questions. I love trying to help you fix your stuff. And, you know, it's absolutely great. But there are things in my life personally that I'm not going to try and tackle on my own. And there's a lot of things that, you know, break in my life that are outside of my realm, and I would rather have a professional go out and fix it. For example, my car. My car is a pretty good car. It's a Subaru. I like it. It runs well. Doesn't break down very often. But if it does, I like to just pay someone that knows what they're doing to go out and do it. That way I know it gets done in a timely manner typically, and I know it gets done right. I'm not going to fix my own car because it's a one and done situation. If I tried to fix my own car, I probably, you know, if I put my mind to it and I focused and I spent my time and, you know, I studied and, I did all those things, I could probably fix it. But the amount of time that I would lose in doing that for one time doing this repair, in my opinion, isn't worth it. I would rather pay somebody else that does it for a living to do it and then do what I do, which is fixing PS4s, Xbox Ones, Nintendo Switches. A lot of Switches have been coming through lately. Fixing those things and let the pros on the car do the car thing and I do my thing. So maybe that's the same sort of outlook you should think of too, is what am I good at? What am I doing, currently for an income? Let me do more of that and let me provide that service to others and do a little more of that. And then when it comes to fixing my Nintendo Switch, why don't I pay a professional? So guys, if you got to ask something like this, is there any chance I could fix it without opening the Switch? It's too complicated for me. You shouldn't even need to ask that. Like, my answer is always going to be find a local repair company. Not necessarily the big ones, because inherently with bigger companies, they're turning out employees a lot. The training isn't probably on par. They probably got some kid in high school or early college working on your thing that doesn't know anything about it, didn't spend 7 years studying it and building a business off of it. Like myself, find a smaller mom and pop third-party repair shop. You could get it done for a fairly affordable price, a lot cheaper than buying a new one. And you got way less headache. You got way less time wasted for a one-off deal. And, you got your working console, it's done right. So that's my recommendation to you guys. Once again, period. Thank you so much for the comment. I really appreciate it. I love your guys' comments lately. I love answering them, especially on repair stuff. It's amazing. So once again, thank you guys so much. And thank you, period, for the comment of the week. But that's going to do it for me, guys. If you got value out of this video, do me a big favor and smash that like button, as well as subscribe with bell notifications turned on so you can catch me every time I go live. But that's enough for me, guys. Now I want to hear from you. Did you pick up a PS5 or a Series X yet? Let me know how you obtained it in the comment section down below. I think a lot of people have great stories on how they picked theirs up, and I think there's a story behind every single interaction, so it can help those of us that haven't picked up the next gen consoles to, sort of have a plan when we go out looking for more. Also, what did you guys think of the Nintendo Indie Showcase? Was there some cool indie games that you're excited to try out? And are you gonna get the new Dark Crystal game from Limited Run? I think I'm gonna pick up the collector's edition, but let me know in the comment section down below. But until next time, guys, Luke from 8-Bit Plus signing out, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless. Dude, I got some sweaty pits, man.